Hey, good morning. Yak Fishing Forever here. Hey, I'm not on the water today, but decided today was a good day to clean the kayak. It's been a few months since I've done it. We've gone through pollen season here in Georgia, so I started looking at it. It could need it. Probably going to have to scrub it down, get a lot of the scum and everything else out of it. But let's do a little walk around. I've already stripped it down to just the bare hull. All right, I'm using the Vibe Shearwater 125 here, right? So please have the children leave the room because this thing is absolutely filthy. All right, as you can see, it's accumulated quite a bit of trash, scum. Okay. It's amazing that it would actually float. Look at some of this stuff. This is really nasty stuff. All right. Oh yeah, this is going to be fun. Maybe I'm going to have to get a hazmat suit to actually do this. Right. Afterwards, I plan on showing some of the configurations that I use with the kayak, because I use it in different. My numbers are even scummed up. Right. I use it in different aspects, and each one of them has a different configuration that I use, whether I'm doing the pedals or I'm doing paddles, if I'm using the fish finder or not using the fish finder. Right. Anyways, I'm gonna get I think the first thing I'm gonna do is get the shop vac out and really go at these leaves and everything else. All right, we'll see what we can do here. Yeah, it's cleaning day here at my house, so let's see what that. Definitely wanted to check the ones on the railing. Right, I found about 5 of them that were loose. Again, it's just finger tight. I didn't over crank them. Okay, just making sure everything is secure, keeping it up. So I've taken the covers off from the 3 access points. All right. Now the covers have a rubber seal around here, and I'll take these in the house. I'm going to clean them up. Some of them are pretty scummy. They've got some condensation on them. I checked inside the hull. There's no standing water, so I don't have any leaks that way. Also, then I'll make sure that I clean around here so that everything else, I get a nice tight seal on that. But this one here, you can see that this is the one that actually sat here, so it probably catches more of the grit and grime that are coming through here. So anyways, it's something good to check. Make sure that you check it once in a while. You don't have to do it a lot. If the seal is bad, you can go ahead and get with Vibe. They'll go ahead and get you some new ones. Right. Well, I got an old toothbrush out, cleaned the edges here, cleaned out the ridges. microfiber cloth, and actually the water that I use, I just use that with a little bit of Dawn dish soap. It's a mild detergent. If it's good enough for ducks, it's good enough for the Shearwater. Anyways, now that I got it cleaned up, I'll go ahead and seal all these up again, and then we'll start really doing some cleaning. So the screws that actually go into this thing, right, use some of the blue Loctite. Some of the Loctite had come off the threads. I went ahead and put a little bit extra on there so that it kind of keeps it from backing out. Well, be sure when you're doing all of this, right, you don't forget to clean the seat, clean out your drive if you have the drive, check your pods, make sure that everything is still good. All right. Again, even on the VersaPod, make sure these screws are all in good shape, that they're tight, not overly tight. There's screws in here, make sure that they're just about tight. There's a whole maintenance thing that I did on how to take care of the drive. I've rinsed it off. A little later on, I'll go ahead and do the lubrication on some of the key points and stuff like this. All right. You should be able to just flex it a little bit by pushing your thumb. It should not slip off at the same time. All right. Again, the drive is 2.5 years old. I've been keeping regular maintenance on it, and I've had zero issues with it. There are two pods that I use primarily in the center pod position. I'll either use the VersaPod if I'm not bringing the pedals out with me. Pops in, gives me some extra storage in there. Right, it's very handy. Also, it's a cleaner look as far as I don't have a lot of stuff in the way. All right, locks in just like all the other pods. Right. Obviously, the other pod that I use is the drive pod. Right. Now, I have the updated one that has the metal clips rather than the old plastic clips. I love it. When you go to set it in, and she locks. Of course, if you lock this down, she won't pull up. And make sure it's okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to oil that. Anyways, when I'm going with this, think I have these set just about right. It's able to flutter. Gives me some good drive. Anyway, take that out, pull that up, and out. Make sure everything's clear. Anyways, the front pod, I've got it hooked up with the low ramps, split shot, 7-inch monitor. She sits in, no problem. The blue cable here is because I use the Bixby 166 to power this, right? So it's all set up, ready to go. Power, everything is neatly set. The through hole wiring kits right here, right? Transducers on the bottom, no problems. She sits there. Underneath, there's a lip going forward that helps protect the transducer. I actually purchased an additional pod from Vibe, and the reason I did this is if I'm using the VersaPod and I'm getting into some really shallow stuff where the fish finder is not going to be beneficial that much, if you leave this open, she'll start splashing back and forth. So I have this, lock it in. Also, this gives me some more storage that's in there. So it's just a nice little option, right? For those that don't have the fish finder set up that way, right? You know that the pod, if you take it out, right, and you try to paddle along, you're going to get that dishwasher effect, and she's going to come over. Now I leave the scuppers out because anytime I get waves or water over, it just runs out. Doesn't affect the balance or how high it sits or half a dozen other crazy theories that I've heard. Anyways, one of the other little modifications that I made, right? There used to be a clip. There was a cord that ran through here. You had to get your tackle boxes in and out of there. I went ahead and put a pad eye in here, put a clip on there, a little bit of bungee. Right, my boxes are secure at the same time if I need to get to them. Right, I can unclip this, get them, then reclip it. I did that on both sides. I also took a couple of the old handles from Vibe and I added it in here. Now I put my pliers in here, hook them back up under here, and they sit there. They're right handy for me. I have one on both sides. Sometimes I'll use the fish grip on the opposite side. Now I can't take credit for this. This was a Billy Reynolds special, right? He told me about this. In, sits, my cable sits, goes up, goes through. Normally I put the washer up underneath there, but I'm not going to do it right now. What I have here on the rudder is actually, these are gunsling mounts, right? They sit here, push in, secure. Yeah, give me some. All right, they're secure. I bring the rudder up. I use a different kind of 2S bolt here, right? I'm able to pull the rudder up with the Bixby. I'm able to let her drop. She locks into place. When she locks into place, forward and reverse. Okay, for camera mount, I've changed up. I had a couple times when I used the old Scotty little single thing that sat there, right, and you put everything in, and it got knocked off with a branch. Next thing I know, Mr. GoPro is in the water. I'm taking pictures of underwater stuff. All right, now I use the Stealth 2-point kayak mount. All right, it's right there. Fits into the railing with no problem. She's not coming out. Okay, and my Scotty mounts actually fit in here. That's part of the Scotty thing, and she's not moving. Right. I use one in the back, I use one in the front, plus I use two of the Stealth QR1s as far as my rod holders. All right, this is the mount, the 2-point mount for the QR1 rod holder. Inside this, you'll feel, and there's a little knot, a little dimple here. Be sure that this is always facing out to the left, and I'll show you why in a minute. Again, very secure. Sits in the railing with no problem. Okay. With the QR1, I have never lost a rod. Even when a striper hit one of my rods and kind of bent it all the way back towards the back of the kayak. All right, I was talking about that little lip to the left. All right, on the mount itself, there's a notch here. Fits in there. Okay, once it's in there, it sits. She's not moving anywheres, right? The only place that it'll actually disengage is if it comes all the way back towards you. Right? And obviously, that's not the way you want to troll. Or even if you're going to hold your, if you're going to have the rod held in there, right? The cam action is absolutely fantastic. Right? Right. Butt of the rod goes in here, sits down here. When you get a strike or you need to pick up the rod, you just pick it up. There's no pulling it forward, pulling it back, lifting this way, and putting slack in your line. It's a great system. I really like them. Well, completely put back together. I don't have one of the fancy crates. I use a milk crate in the back. I don't carry a whole lot of tackle with me, and I don't carry extra rods. 3 rods about as max I'll take with me, right? A couple mediums, maybe a medium heavy, or maybe a medium light to replace the medium heavy. Anyways, between the whole rig, this is what I do. Right? If you got any questions, comments, be glad to hear from you. Right? In Georgia, required to go ahead because I use the electric motor to have it registered. Right? 3 years, $36. Not too much to ask for. I support Heroes on the Water, right? And of course, I use the Stars and Stripes. Retired Army, so why not? And what you got to do is you got to just make it yours, however you want to do it, right? So this has been Yak Fishing Forever. My name's Bill. Right, sometime I'll do something with the 110s that I got. Those configurations are a little bit different because they are stripped down and ready to go on the rivers. And hey, as I always say, take a kid fishing, get outdoors, enjoy the day.